It's a bye week, but that doesn't mean Shane Steichen isn't talking to the media. Of course he's talking to the media. We need to know things about these Indianapolis Colts after the Germany trip, after the win over the Patriots. How's he feeling? What's he doing? How's he using the bye week? What's he think of Shaquille Leonard? All answers are forthcoming from Shane Steichen.
Shane, I was talking to Isaiah McKenzie in the locker room about like the whole West Virginia play. Did you get a chance to kind of watch that back and also just expand on maybe how big that was in the game to have that sort of play in that moment?
Yeah, no, it was huge. I got a chance to see that video. I think I saw it yesterday. Pretty awesome, with the film crew and him and getting that return there. It was big for us to get that return, close to midfield. But awesome to see for Isaiah and our football team there. It was awesome experience, like I said, going over there and experiencing that, and obviously to get the win was huge going over there. But it was good to see.
Joel?
Shane, I think the way a lot of people talk about the sneak that you guys used in Philly and you guys have used a little bit here, it's kind of like sort of like they talk about like it's a brute force thing, but how much technique goes into that play?
Yeah, without getting into too much of it, there is a lot of technique that goes into it. Obviously, there's a lot of dudes around the football in there, and people know it's coming, and you got to convert it. But the technique is big, and we're going through that stuff right now, going through our self-scout process, looking at all situations, looking at ourselves, self-evaluating everything, and that's one of the things we're looking at and trying to get cleaned up, and along with a lot of other things, so we can be, at our best moving forward with 7 games left.
Dominic?
Yeah, Shane, now that you guys have kind of a chance to take a deep breath finally at the bye week, how would you assess first 10 weeks of the season? 5-5, you're in the thick of things, dealt with a lot of adversity. How would you assess these first 10 weeks?
I think there's some good. There's some things we need to clean up. Just the consistency of what we're doing it at. I think the biggest thing for us moving forward is playing complementary football week in and week out in all 3 phases. We can't have lows on one side of the ball. The other side of the ball is really just putting that together in all 3 phases is going to be big for us moving forward.
Kevin?
Shane, how do you like handling a self-scout? Obviously, the first time that you've gone through it, like in depth during a bye week, but how do you like to handle it and divvy that up?
We divvy it up between, our staffs, offense and defense. Everyone has their, areas and they present, and we're going through that right now. We're just taking a break here, but just going through everything. First, second down, third downs, red zone, 4-minute backed up, short yardage, what we're good at, what we need to improve at. I think it's big. These bye weeks are huge to really self-evaluate where you're at, things you need to improve on and get cleaned up going forward to give yourself a chance here in these last 7 weeks.
And then the other one is Gardner as a starter versus in relief this year. The numbers are pretty stark in the difference of how he's played in relief when Anthony got hurt versus as a starter. What do you point to as a reason why?
I don't know. We look through those things, again, we've got a ton of faith in Gardner going forward, and we work through those things and we watch and evaluate and go through that process. And again, self-evaluate, coaching wise, what we're doing, putting our guys in, the position to be successful is what we got to do.
Kent?
Hey, Shane, with the bye week, do you use this as a time to like decompress and reboot, or do you just grind right through it and this gives you a little bit of time to do some extra stuff?
A little bit of both. I'll take a day or two to, reboot, but obviously, looking at stuff is going to be big going forward and make sure we have a really good plan in all phases, all 3 phases moving forward. But really looking, self-scout's huge in these bye weeks. You can take a lot away from it, getting better. And like I said, the biggest thing for us moving forward is going to be playing complementary football in all 3 phases.
George?
That's with how tightly bunched the AFC is going into these final 7 weeks. Do you approach this as sort of a playoff-like atmosphere in terms of how you're going to handle things the last stretch of the regular season?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I think in the league, obviously, you look at the standings, but you got to take it 1 week at a time and focus on what you can focus on and control what you can control. And that's winning, 1 week at a time and being focused on being 1-0 every single week. And then once you get, towards the end, week 15, week 17, or week 15, week 16, week 17. You see where it goes, and then it really turns into that playoff atmosphere, depending on the standings. But again, we got to be 1-0 going forward each week.
Nate?
Hey, Shane, obviously you mentioned you're going to be doing the self-scout, but as you head into that process, do you have a feeling right now for kind of what the biggest issue is just with the passing game the past couple of weeks, trying to get it more productive, or is that what the focus is going to be this week?
Yeah, I think it's everything. Situational football is huge. Looking at the self-scout, like I said, what we're good at, what we can improve on will be big. Again, and it really goes back to complementary football and taking care of the football. We've taken care of the football. Like I said, after the game on Sunday, we're won 5 games when we won the turnover battle. And I think that's big, is taking care of the football, and the defense getting takeaways like they've been doing will be huge moving forward.
We have time for 2 more. James?
Shane, what do you think it says about your team, despite 2 offensive touchdowns in the last 2 weeks, to find a way? I talked to Zaire about this, Buckner about this, and obviously they're excited, they're happy, and it doesn't matter what it looks like when you do win. So what do you think it says about your team to not let the rope grow after that 3-game losing streak there?
Yeah, I think it's just the belief in the resilience. No matter what the circumstances are, if the offense ain't scoring points like we haven't been the last 2 weeks, the defense has stepped up, and we're finding ways to win games. And that's the stat that matters, is winning football games. But again, it's just the resilience and the belief that every time we step on that field, we're going to go win the football game.
Joel?
It feels like JT is playing better than like some of the yards per carry or whatever suggests. Is that kind of how it feels to you guys too? It feels like he's creating stuff, even if it's at a 23 for 69, maybe doesn't pop off, but it felt like watching it live, it felt like it was pretty good game from him.
Yeah, you guys know, the explosiveness that he brings, he's always got the capability to hit a home run, when the opportunity presents itself. But he's running hard right now, and obviously 6 games back into it, getting his feet back underneath him. It's been good to see.
Last one, Bob?
Shane, Shaq has been pretty vocal the last couple of weeks. Excuse me if you've already answered this, but how do you take that, and how did you feel like he played this past Sunday?
Yeah, I thought he played hard. I got a ton of respect for Shaq, and like I said, each week we work through that with him, that process with the playing time, but got a ton of respect for him.
That's Shane Steichen. How about that answer about Shaquille Leonard? A lot of respect for Shaquille Leonard. That's not exactly saying, hey, he's playing at a Pro Bowl level. Not that at all, was it? No, it wasn't. So they're going to self-scout this week, figure out what's coming up next week as they prepare to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then it's a 7-game sprint to the end of the season. And you know what? You win enough of those 7 games, you go to the playoffs. You don't win enough, you're not going to the playoffs. What do they look like right now? They don't look like a playoff team, do they? Maybe they will be. You never know. Things happen the last 7 weeks of the season. Making the playoffs would be an extraordinary accomplishment. We'll see if they can.